My name is Simon Chelugui, Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Labour and Social Protection, Republic of Kenya. The President of the 109th session of the International Labour Conference, fellow ministers, Your Excellencies, receive warm greetings from Kenya. Mr. President, the Kenya delegation welcomes the Director General's report. It draws the global community to reflection on the impact of the pandemic to the world of work. The report also brings out lessons learned and the way forward within the framework of the future of work foreseen under the Centenary Declaration and the 17 targets under the 2015 Sustainable Development Agenda. In Kenya, labor and employment is one sector of the economy that continues to be adversely affected by the adverse effects of this pandemic. Besides the health of workers, the pandemic has affected the number of jobs available while exposing more Kenyans to unemployment and underemployment. At the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, our government introduced a number of measures to mitigate against the effects of the pandemic under the economic stimulus package. These mitigation measures were geared towards increasing demand for local goods and services, cushioning vulnerable Kenyans, securing household food security for the poor, and creating employment and incomes. Towards this, our government embarked on fast-tracking of value-added tax refund, payment of outstanding bills, and provided seed capital for small and medium enterprises. All these measures were aimed at creating and protecting works and jobs for our people. Similarly, to protect and create jobs in the manufacturing sector, our government came up with a policy on purchasing of locally manufactured goods and provided credit to small, micro, and medium enterprises whose aim was to increase liquidity and hence create employment. The government has also started youth employment program and was able to engage 283,000 youths in urban areas to improve urban infrastructure. Kenya has a robust cash transfer program that targets the vulnerable members of our community. During the pandemic, the government ensured that it continued dispersing funds for the regular cash transfer, targeting people living with disabilities, vulnerable children, and elder persons 70 years and above. To respond to labor and employment challenges posed by the pandemic, our government, together with the social partners, Central Organization of Trade Union, KOTU, and Federation of Kenya Employers, FKE, came together and, following ILO guidelines and existing legal framework, agreed to work together through social dialogue, hence averting job losses and acrimonious industrial unrest in our country. Distinguished delegates, in spite of the measures put by the government, the Kenya's labor market still registered a loss of 1.7 million jobs by December 2020. However, the government of Kenya is focused in the protection of its workers and creation of more decent jobs. Towards this end, the government post-COVID-19 recovery strategies include, but not limited to, establishment of an occupational disease fund, which is expected to protect workers directly affected through death and disability caused by occupational disease, including COVID-19 pandemic. 2, establishment of a contributory unemployment insurance fund to cushion workers who lose their employment as a direct result of this crisis. 3, establishment of migrant workers welfare fund, which will be utilized to provide assistance and welfare services to migrant workers and their families. And 5th, appointment of additional honorary consuls and labor attaches in the key labor destination countries to improve the provision of necessary consular assistance and protection of labor rights of Kenyan migrant workers. As I conclude, Kenya acknowledges the efforts undertaken by ILO in response to this pandemic, including development of policy frameworks for tackling the economic social impact of COVID-19 crisis, which has assisted member states to formulate national responses. However, much still needs to be done, as the recovery needs high level of international cooperation and solidarity so that no one is left behind. In this regard, the government of Kenya urges ILO to leverage their leadership role in international arena in advancing human-centered recovery from the COVID-19 crisis and to call for equitable and affordable access to COVID-19 vaccine, which will help to restart economies and curb inequalities between our countries. I thank you.